Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be war number 5 of season 30. 2 Loki this time's going up against 1 god. I'm going to be on path 7 in section 1 and then path 1 in section 2, and then I've got a boss fight in this war. 2 Loki for this week has decided we're going to focus mainly on AQ map 8 and getting that under control. So, taking a couple different paths because people had to use some of their normal champs that they would use for AW and AQ while we learn those nodes. So, a couple different fights for me. This first fight up is kinetic transference. And it's a Mojo, just going to take them with Spidey 99. My thinking going into this one is just get to the special 2, throw it off, get the Wither on there, bait special 1s, and really not going to have much of a difficulty in this fight. So 30 seconds in, we've got Wither on there. He's being really nice and throwing his special 1s without having to debate around a lot or take hits into the block. But even with that, with the Wither on there, the kinetic transference is not really going to come into play. I just feel more comfortable evading his special 1 than his special 2. So here we go, second special 2, going to finish him off here. Relatively easy. For a Mojo that can be tricky depending on who you bring, a pretty straightforward fight. The next fight up on the path is going to be a Void. I debated who to bring on this one for a while. It was either going to be Moleman or it was going to be Shang-Chi. Decided to go with Moleman, and this node has Vivified on there, so he's going to gain power faster. It's got Brute Force, so I'm not going to have a lot of time to bait special. So what I decide on this one is I'm just going to go ahead and put an invulnerability boost on him and go ham. If he gets to a special 3, so be it. Sometimes when you're fighting Void, he does not want to throw his specials. So really all I'm going to do in this fight is just go all out. I'm not really going to spend any time baiting specials. If I've got to throw my special 3, I'm going to save up for that. If he throws his special 3, I can eat 3 of them comfortably and not worry about it. So, you can see that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just doing parry, 5-hit combos. Going to give him a second here if he doesn't throw it. I was going to go in and parry and push him over. But, he, for the most part, throws that special 2 in this fight pretty regular, without having to worry about baiting it out or, anything like that. And the plan is, really, I'm just going to use Moleman for this fight. He doesn't have any other fights for the paths I'm taking. So, whatever happens, happens. You'll see here he throws a special 2 and I'm like, we're in good shape. I'm going to parry, I think, 5-hit combo one more time here. Oh, nope, he throws a special 2. And then I throw my special 3. I knew I had a special 3 coming up in there. Just to, get some more damage in, just to see if I can finish this fight, quicker. I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried about pushing him to his special 3. I knew this was going to put me to where I was in frenzy, so I was going to do a little bit more damage. And my thinking was, if he throws the special 3, fine. If not, I'm going to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time and just get out of this fight with the full attack bonus. So there's the special 3. He's going to come out of it, and that's going to be it. So I've got a lot of bleeds on him. One more hit took care of him. So that finishes off path 7 in section 1. Now we're going to move over into section 2, and I've kind of got the shared fight before section 2. It is an apocalypse, which is why I brought in Silver Centurion for this war. This node can be tricky, because it does have the EMP modification. So you're going to take some shock damage, and Silver Centurion is immune to shock. It's got Bubble Shield, and it's got Burden of Might, which I forgot about Burden of Might going into it. And also Aspect of Evolution. So, you'll see here, my plan was I was going to throw special 2s. But, I forgot about Burden of Might, so that kind of changed my plan, part of the way in. And I don't really play Bubble Shield very well in this fight either. But, my thinking was, let me stack up as many plasma debuffs on him as I can. You'll see here, I'm thinking, okay, let's get the special 2. I'm going to bait his special 1 or special 2. I'm, going to take him into block. I just want to get through this fight, full attack bonus, being as safe as I can, fully knowing that I'm going to take a bunch of little chip damage and block damage, and, that's just going to be what's going to happen. So there we go. Took some hits into the block. It wasn't too bad. Silver Centurion does have, an armor up buff. So, all in all, not too bad. A special 1 into block. And this is where you'll see that I mess up the bubble shield. I thought that was the unblockable hit. I thought I had it out of the way. Apparently I didn't. Not sure why. But, took a couple hits there into the invulnerability boost. And, at this point also I'm realizing, okay, I'm going to have to throw special 1s because I'm not going to get to a special 2. And, really from here, that's how the fight goes. It's just going to be, throwing my special 1s, baiting his specials, evading or, as many of the hits as possible to keep bubble shield down. And, you can see there I'm at 19. And this is, kind of the worst part of the match right there. I realized, I was at 20 and he had the tail end of his special 1 to go, and I just had to try and avoid it and couldn't. Luckily, I got the weakness debuff on there, so I am going to take a little bit of willpower healing. There we go. And he's down to 9%. I'm feeling pretty good about this. That really hurt into the block. With Aspect of Evolution, he really got up there, and that was a lot of block damage. But able to get out of it with full attack bonus. It is going to cost me a few health potions to heal him up, because I'm going to use him again for the next fight. Now we're going to be on Path 1, and the first fight up is a Kingpin. My thinking on this one was, I can use Silver Centurion. His, since I have him awakened, his debuffs are passive, so he's not going to remove them, and that's going to give me enough damage on here. But, this node does have Vigor on it, so he is going to be healing up some. It's going to be a slow fight. I know that going into it, but I just thought, I could do enough damage with Silver Centurion that I can get him past those thresholds often enough that he wouldn't heal up too much. And to make this fight interesting, you're going to see here in a second, I'm trying to bait his special 1 and just mistime a dex or something. So I take a few hits there, and those second 2 hurt. I'm a little concerned at this point. It's like, down to 70% health, 20 seconds into the fight isn't ideal, So I know I'm going to have to be careful from here on, and really it is just me being careful the rest of the way, baiting his special 1s, trying to keep my spacing so that he doesn't have me pushed into a corner. Here's a case where he doesn't throw his special, he's being stingy, and he gets his, some healing in. I get the heal block on there, but it's too late, so he's already taken most of the healing, and, it's just going to be this for the rest of the fight. So, going to speed it up a little bit here just to bypass some of the boredom of watching me fight Kingpin for, 4 minutes. And you'll see here, what I'm having to do is just really bait special 1s, throw my special 1s, try to get the heal blocks to stick, try and get as many debuffs on them as I can to bring some damage down, and just slow grinding. We're 2 minutes into the fight and he's just at 60%. I'm a little concerned about the timer. I've got to get better timing on my heal blocks on him. I've got to get it to where if I can time it right, I'm hitting him with my special 1 as the heal has just gone off. I just missed it there, and 2.5 minutes in, I'm in better shape. He's down to 27%. So at this point I'm feeling a little bit better about the fight. No, it's still going to go down close to the wire, especially if I can't get heal blocks on when he gets that heal going. So down to 10% health. At this point, no worries about finishing off the fight. So just a long fight. Took those couple hits at the beginning, which was unfortunate. Not planning on using Silver Centurion anymore the rest of the war. So, I'm thinking, not the worst case, no heals having to go into him or anything like that. And, got the full attack bonus. This next fight, Dragonman on Buffet, and really, this is where Spidey 99 is very nice since he doesn't gain buffs, don't have to worry about Buffet, and I can get Vivified on him and don't have to worry about Dragon Man's power gain. And that's really the entire plan is just get up to my special 2, throw it, get the Wither debuff on him, and just fight like a normal everyday fight. I do take the hit into the block there so I get the debuff on me, just so I have a little bit of willpower healing. Not really planning on any more fights this war at this point. This was all that I assigned myself going into it. But you'll see here, there's a couple more fights that I get to take part in, so it was kind of a good call to keep that debuff on, just to stay topped up. And there we go. So there's the special 2. At this point, if you look, you can see barely there that his power gain's actually reversed some. So, that power gain buff that he gets is not an issue. The Wither does count as, the Wither debuffs on there. Now, really at this point, I just want to get some Ruptures and some other debuffs on him so that when I throw this next special 2, there's enough damage in there. But really don't even need it. He was going down without it. But, overall, a pretty clean fight with Spidey 99. Now, this next fight was supposed to be taken by somebody else, but they did not bring the right counter in with them. So, after debating for a while, it was decided, well, try Spidey 99. Like I said, our focus for this war and for this upcoming one is really AQ and getting that locked down with map 8. So, we kind of figured going into this one, this wasn't going to be a win. At this point, it was looking very much like that this was going to be a loss. So, I'm only lightly buffed here, and I'm thinking, okay, well, let me try going in with a Power Start 1 and just play around with the node. I don't like this strike counter power drain thing. I don't like the path in section 1, path 2 in section 1 where it's got that with the Fury. But one thing that definitely doesn't help is taking a 5-hit combo when you miss a parry at the very beginning of the fight. So 15 seconds in, I'm 42% health and Killmonger is at 100%. So really, really bad start. Something I could not just get the timing on my parry this fight. You'll see that I take a lot into the block. I'm just not getting very much, playing the node fairly well, and keeping his reverberation under control. But I know at this point, I'm at 34% health. He's at 80. There's just too much that goes on in this fight that, really can't do much. So I kind of shift here in just a second to try and play all just full damage, at this point. Ignore the node and just get in as much damage as you can. You'll see there's another, a little bit of chip damage down to 28% health. At this point, I've got 4 of the power drain debuffs on me. Pretty sure I'm not going to get to a special anymore. Miss another parry, and just, playing this fight very, very poorly. Still, thinking, well, if I play perfect, I could pull it out. Just having to be very careful of his reverb and not hit into him very much when it's on. And just, see what we can do. Do as much damage as possible before I die and see if somebody else can take him. And there we go. A couple more hits into the block because I miss a parry. That just was the kind of the way this fight went. Down to 15%. A couple more hits in the block, and knew I couldn't take the special into the block, so tried to evade it and just missed. And really not a good fight. So at this point, we debate and discuss and chat a little bit who's going to take them. Really not a good option with the other 2 people that are in that section. So end up tossing a revive into Spidey here in just a second, and healing him up. And we're going to go back in and try again. My thinking is, okay, well, if I do this fight the right way and I don't miss a parry, and yeah, I increased my attack boost up another 5% just to try and see what I can do. Toss on a combat regen because I had one expiring, just to save a health potion and think, okay, it's possible. I fought poorly and took about 55% of his health, something like that. 40. Took him down to 60%. Yeah, there we go. On the first fight, maybe I can do this. It's going to be close. But it was really the best option. To try and come away with the most attack bonus possible for the season points. So just going to stick with throwing special ones as often as possible. The wither debuff wouldn't do much to Killmonger here other than heal him up. And that's one of the downsides to Spidey placing as many debuffs as he does. You can see that he is getting some willpower healing from them. And, I'm completely ignoring the strike counter node this time around. I'm just in here just to do as much damage as possible. Get as many ruptures on there. That's really my biggest source of damage in this fight is going to have to be the ruptures. Trying to stick my parries as much as possible. Making sure that I don't get, take any of this hits from his special into the block. And this one's working a little bit better. Do take a couple hits there. Luckily, I did not get a bleed on me. So, winning the battle of the health bar right at the moment. I'm at 44%, he's at 30. Fortunately, I'm keeping his reverb down, when he's got low power, so I'm not taking a lot of damage back. Feeling a little bit better at this point. And, really at this point, just want to stay healthy and get through the fight. So, and I'll let it play out from here. And, okay, now kind of at this point in the fight, I'm down to 20% health. I'm a little worried over, exactly what's going to happen and what's going to go on. But, I think I can still pull it off. It's just going to be a couple more specials I've got to bait. Hopefully I can get him up to his special 2 because I struggle avoiding the special 1. I do have a couple ruptures on him. Get those to burst. Get him over his power bar there for a special 2, and I'm pretty sure that if I can get a couple more combos in, we can finish that fight off and pull out 2 attack bonus. It wasn't great, but it was able to be done. Now is when I get to have a little bit of fun though. This war, by the time we got to the boss, was a loss, and I was like, I've got Silver Centurion with me. Let me just throw a couple boosts on him and let me see what he can do against Professor X. All our Human Torches had lost their Flame On buffs and didn't have any up. So, really the ideal counter that we wanted to go into there was not available. So, I just wanted to see what I could do with Silver Centurion on the boss. Thinking, in the future, if I boost up and play this a little bit better, I do get hit there, which I think is the ultimate deciding factor in this fight, was that it was a couple hits I took early on. Probably wouldn't have been able to do it with him anyway, just boosted as light as I was. But, you'll see here that this is a viable option. If you have a ranked Silver Centurion, and you have a Professor X boss, you have to watch the altitude charges, which I didn't do a good job of on this because I really was just going in to see how much damage I could do to him. Trying to avoid the blocked hits, because they will hurt, especially with 4 altitude charges. Just hitting into his block, hoping I can bait either a heavy or, a special. And there I forgot about his falter being up. So took a few extra hits in there. But, really taking about 6 hits at this point, 7 hits. I've still got, a fair amount of health, and, he's done a little bit of damage. When I'm able to get in there and hit, and he's being nice and throwing specials, those plasmas are, they don't do a lot, but they add up. 150 damage a tick with one on there. Like I said, doesn't seem like much, but like I said, I think this fight would be possible. One played better and two boosted up a little bit more. So someone else jumps in there after I'm done, takes a couple percent off, and I was like, yeah, let me just throw Spidey in there. I've got 18% health, didn't feel like wasting a potion, and Professor X is at 55%. I didn't expect to do much. I was just like, oh, I've got the damage reduction, so I'll be able to take a couple hits into block and, be able to do a little bit of damage and, just chip some off of them. But this fight was just fun. Really just trying to fight him, almost, Quake style, where I don't get touched. I'm going to hit into his block to push him over to a special one. I'm going to bait special ones. I'm going to hit into him to get the falter after a special one, and really just keep doing that. And just to see what I can. I get the rupture damage, from time to time when I hit into it. Pretty good at, evading his special one. At this point, I'm down to 12. I took just a hit into the block there, and it did a chunk of damage. But, it hasn't been too bad. I've done a little bit of damage. I'm at my special 2, so now I just want to be able to get to it and throw the special 2 off. So I'm going to do it just to intercept him here with my special 2. Does, about 10% damage, which is pretty nice. And really, it's about what I was expecting. At this point, I was like, anything extra I can do is just bonus damage. So let's just keep going. Still got the, 11%. I know I probably can't take any hits into my block at this point because he's got 5 altitude charges. So, you'll see here that, fortunately, for the most part, he is willing to kind of turtle up, let me hit into his block. He's, willing to throw his special 1 fairly regularly. Which lets me get the falter off of him. I got kind of lucky there with my timing. I was just going to try and hit into his block to do some, to get his power bar up there a little bit, but he did open himself up. Throw a nice heavy in there, and he's down to 19%. And at this point, I'm thinking, I've got a chance. If he doesn't touch me, I've got a chance to pull this off. There I take another hit into the block. It does a couple percent of damage. Not going to be too upset over that. I know that he's got his falter up, so I need a special 1, and there we go, he throws it. At this point I want to hit into his block, get a lucky intercept there. Wasn't trying to, it was just trying to get into his block. I know if I can throw this special 2, the fight is over at this point. And it's just a matter of him throwing a special 1, take another hit in the block, drop to 2%. And I'm like, oh, come on, I can't end this close to, being able to defeat him. His falter's up, so I know I can't do a special intercept. I'm just, begging that he throws a special. So, okay, he throws a special. He's got his 100 charges up, so he doesn't lose any power. So I've got to bait another one. And here we go. He threw it, able to hit into him, get a 5-hit combo, special 2, able to pull that fight off, really going into it in a way that I shouldn't have, and I typically wouldn't. But, overall, I was very, very happy with that fight. That was, something I didn't expect to turn out very well. But, like I said, we did lose this one. I'm up to 34 kills, 3 deaths now on the season, 4 boss kills, and 2 Loki is sitting at 2 and 3. I want to thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like and a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks again.